Hi everybody, it's Mrs. Casil. This is like my 80th take during this video, so you know what? This is going to be the one. Welcome to Newton's second law lab. You're going to be using a simulation called forces in motion. When you click here, it'll take you to the simulation. You're going to need to go back and forth between your two tabs, your tab for the lab instructions, your tab for the simulation. It's up to you if you need to split your window or if you need to find a shortcut for how to do that. But just so you know, that's one of the pieces of management you'll need to do. It suggests you choose acceleration first. I'm actually going to change that to make sure that it says start with motion, because that's what you're doing for part one. You're going to select motion right here. Double click on it. Your lab is very clear. It tells you what to do, what options to check, which options to select, how to set up your equipment, and then it asks you to make observations. So completing this lab does require you to read and follow these directions. If you can do that, it's incredibly easy, all right? But you have to read and think about what they say. For the most part, they're telling you exactly what to do, and then your first data table basically starts your answer for you. It says what happens when that girl on the skateboard reaches maximum speed. The pusher, the little orange man who pushes the skateboard, what does he do? What happens to the motion of the girl? Why is the applied force control grayed out? So you are completing the sentence in the box here. Now, apply the maximum force in the opposite direction. So again, you've got some prompts to get you started to complete the sentence. Part two of this lab asks you to do an acceleration lab. So let me just make my window just a little bit smaller. Hi, Lee. Isn't that a cute picture of my baby girl? Oh, that didn't work very well. All right. Oh my goodness. So down at the bottom, it says acceleration, and you'll see there's one for net force. That's another fun one to do. But here, net force is like a total war game. For acceleration, here's where the lab setup is. You're free to play around with it. But for the remainder of the lab here, you're going to use this acceleration um, lab part. So again, it tells you what to do to set up the bucket of water, to do some loose calculations, and then explore some of those mathematical relationships. And then for this part, it asks you to make a graph. All right, I'm going to go ahead and we'll add a link in here to the quick graphing site so that you can just insert a screenshot when you're done of your graph so that you don't need to hunt around for graph paper or make one just on scratch paper, right? So here's where you're going to determine if you keep mass constant, you don't change the mass of the moving object, and you change what the force is, what's the resulting acceleration. Okay? Then you're going to do the same simulation part. You're still over on this acceleration tab down here. But this time, you're going to be varying the mass. So you'll keep the force constant, but you're going to change how heavy the thing is that's moving and see how does that affect acceleration, right? And then you'll make a graph and insert your graph. Thus endeth the lab. All right. Please let me know if you've got questions. Read, think, trust yourself.